well. Hope your holiday weekend is going well. Wish I could say the same about mine. I woke up this morning and my glasses were mysteriously broken. Can you see me? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can get out this way. I had to drop my daughter off at work today, and I had to make a little stop to pick up something at Target. And I just wanted to come in and say hi. I haven't done so in a while. Been really busy. These people in North Carolina are really ignorant. Someone just pulled in and didn't even look and saw the fact that I couldn't get around some people who were walking, some pedestrians. Sick, boy. They're sick. And I mean, the gang stalking situation continues. The saga continues. Like, I always put my glasses in my case. How on earth are they broken? You must think to yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and put a camera or cameras in my home. I do have a camera on my doorbell. But, I mean, all around my home to prevent people from hopefully breaking in. Sometimes it doesn't even deter them. You guys know that. And then sometimes on top of that, they're so bold they hack those cameras and you still have no privacy. So, yeah, understanding the reality of where we live and what's going on within our dynamic. Understanding what reality is right now. You know, this gang stalking and all the violence is becoming normalized, and it's ridiculous. And I don't want to bring people down. Everybody has their own issues to deal with, but when I'm dealing with the type of situation I'm dealing with, the type of stress, and I'm a single parent, I have all these things that I have to do, I find it to be absolutely absurd that I also have to deal with someone who's a narcissist and who's a stalker. I mean, whenever I smell that nasty cigarette smoke, I smelled it yesterday and went into one of the stores. My daughter was off yesterday, and I was like, that's that nasty, it smells like, I don't know what it smells like. It's just disgusting. That cigar smoke, it's like, that's like some type of sign I'm supposed to recognize for violence. I can't think of what it smells. It's just disgusting. Like some type of nasty ragweed or something. And it gives me asthma attacks. And I could smell it underneath, coming from the apartment underneath me today. So I was like, I woke up and I expected something to happen. I woke up, my purse was unzipped. I'm like, why is my purse unzipped? I always zip it before I go to sleep at night, and it's in my bedroom. Strange damn things, you know what I'm saying? As I've said before, this person is substituting me for whomever, the partner he wished he had. Yeah, you wish, you know, and I think that's the most dangerous type of stalking. A serious crisis right now of mental health, especially as far as black men go. I'm not blaming black men, because black women, hey, I'm not a misogynist. Black women can be just as guilty. But understand this. It's not going to change until we address it. And I'm tired of saying it over and over again. It can be any race at any time. You have a number of different mental health crises that are going on at one time. Immigration, when they come over, they aren't screened for mental health. You know, if you ever lived in Florida or California, you know how bad it can be, even Texas. And then you have to deal with black men who are lonely or want some attention, or, you know, any lonely person that decides they want to come and try to bother you when you have to deal with all the stress on top of the fact that you're educated where you are. They try to ignore that because it intimidates them, so they try to dumb you down. And I find that to be quite disturbing. You know, another thing I was talking to my daughter about was the fact that, and this is a good thing, but it's a bad thing, and I'll talk about it later because I don't have much time today. But in California, they're giving fast food workers, they're trying to $22 an hour to start. That's great if they give the people who are, you know, PhDs, who, you know, are trying to get tenure, not even a regular PhD, those getting tenure, $22 an hour. I'm talking people who have been there for 5 years still not making 70 grand a year, and then someone at McDonald's is. So you can see that lopsidedness. You know, I have 3 degrees, but I don't have my doctorate yet. But it still defeats the purpose of what they're trying to do. It doesn't address discrimination at all. It just basically raises you know, the bar for a certain type of, you know, industry is specifically for fast food. But I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because if you're doing that, everything else has to be commensurate. If you're going to go up $22 up to $22 an hour from what it is now, 13 or whatever, then everything else has to go up $11 an hour, at least $11 to $13 an hour. Everybody else's position does too, because if you don't, it's not going to make any sense. Because that means you're going to school for nothing. You have student loans you can't pay, and please don't tell me about Biden's fake $10,000 or $20,000. I guarantee you $100,000, which most people carry. That mess didn't make a dent in. I don't know what that was supposed to be, a gesture. It was like giving you $1 for reparations. Thanks, but no thanks. No, I mean, you could have kept that mess. Hey, it is what it is. And you see, Biden did the same thing that Trump did. I'm not on anybody's side. I don't have really any party affiliation at this point. Although in the past I've been Democrat. I'm not voting because it doesn't seem to make a difference. Just because of that reason, because it's crazy. Like, if you're going to sit there and tell me Biden just did it nicely, where he gave police officers all this extra money and he's giving away all this money to Ukraine, and then he gives you freaking $10,000 to $20,000 for even the basic university. You know, for instance, when I was at Howard for a while, it was like $10,000, $13,000 a year. And that's really the lowest that you could possibly make it, including with state grants and such. So if we're going to sit down here and give somebody 1 year of school, I mean, what kind of madness is that? What is it? It helps. And nobody's sitting here complaining, but it's a token gesture, and that's just really disrespectful. And then on top of that, you're going to pay people, and I'm all for people making more money to support their families, but if you're going to give somebody making hamburgers $22 a freaking hour, and then not give somebody who's out there, you know, really teaching your children, you know, doing important jobs and such, not, you know, and they're not making the same, you're not doing the right thing. A lot of discrimination still exists where black women don't get the same pay as white women, and that doesn't address any of those things, because obviously in California, Hispanic people are going to be the majority. They're not going to have as much as far as the black and white discrimination, because the black people don't speak up for themselves. They live in certain areas just because of the small demographics that they have. They're only at like 8 or 9%, and not 80 or 98 or 9 of the whole entire state, and people don't realize that. So that's understandable. I told you guys when I had to contact Target years ago, before they had a black hair care section, because I went into one of their stores in California, and the girl pointed to one relaxer box that wasn't even separated from any of the other things when I asked for where was their black hair care section when I was living in California before. And I wrote this long dissertation, I lied to you not, to the head of Target, and I went right to the page with his email, and blah, 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 let him have it. And lo and behold, several months later, you have your black hair care section. Now, I'm not saying that I was the one who did it, but I'm saying I definitely contributed to that, and I'm very proud of that. And I don't tell people that. My activism is very quiet. I may be doing things that you have no idea that I'm doing. And sometimes it's none of your business, because I like to get straight to the source, because I don't play. And so therefore, when people don't see me physically go and act, you know, out things and all this useless, you know, marching and things like that, they assume. Don't assume, because these people don't care about anything but their reputation and their money. There's a few people out there that really care, that do their jobs, but I'm telling you, black women know this as well. If you've ever worked in corporate, what's the bottom line? They want the representation to look good for the company, and they want their money. They want you to be happy as a client or a customer, but that's not really their first priority. So you can go out there and protest. That's great. You think representation is the only thing, and as I said before, all this stuff they're doing with dark-skinned folk right now, trying to promote that as being, you know, the correct way of being and all of that. Hey, you think that's right? This fake woke crowd, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. They're going to be like, whatever you say. And then once you mess up, they're going to be like, I'm not going to help the black community anymore, because that's what they said do. Now, as far as, you know, dealing with black men and all of this misogyny and all of this fantasizing about women they can't date, it's still sad. That, I think, is sad. I think pushing the gay agenda onto black women, and I'm not talking about dating a bisexual man either. I'm talking about trying to make a black woman feel as if she's gay when she isn't. Some of that Atlanta type stuff. You know, I don't want to say project stuff because you'll think I'm stereotyping you, but I'm not. Because my grandmother was very poor. When I was younger, she of course died when I was, I don't know, 5 or 6. Maybe, yeah, something like that, 6 or 7. And I can tell you that I've lived in the projects. It wasn't as bad as it is now. I mean, everybody from the area I'm from is very honest. I mean, Pharrell will be very honest. Rarely will Missy say anything, but like, she was born in the same city I was, even though I didn't grow up there. But she knows. She ain't gonna say, you know, Missy Elliott's not gonna say anything either. But I mean, people, when they come home, they're very honest. Missy doesn't come like to fruition like that, so to speak. She's not gonna have a platform that details her background, because that's what she's chosen to do, not show her background. But I know her mother was a minister in that area. I don't know if she still is. You know, I know what the situation is. But when you're home and you go through, hey, you got all this money, you got all that clout, you got this, that, and the dirt, all they can look at is what the truth is. All of us grew up very, very poor. And we've never, ever, ever shunned anybody who's been poor. Never. Because we know better. And neither should you. As far as disrespecting this dysfunctional situation with these people they're hyping up, which is a bunch of fakeness right now in the entertainment industry, it's empowering these men who have low self-esteem to pretend. And as far as law enforcement, they're going to pretend like they don't know the difference because, you know, it benefits them. They're not concerned. If you're a black woman, you're waiting for a police officer to help you, you're waiting a long ass time. You know, I mean, it is just absurd. You're constantly wondering, people break into your car, your apartment. This sort of pervert is a minion. A minion. And as far as, you know, the gay agenda, I'm like, you got to get out of here with that. Single women and stuff with children that have given birth, you coming over here trying to make them gay or transgender at a drop of a dime. No. You're going to have to do a lot more work than that. And I don't think that any of it's going to work. I have nothing against this community. I've always said I don't have anything against the LGBTQIA community. I've never been that one. I don't discriminate against anyone. I don't care if you date a bisexual man. I would tell you right now, the majority of black men are bisexual, have been bisexual at one time. They're not going to tell you that. But literature states that in Africa, the young men, as they're initiated, are bisexual in nature. That is something in adolescence that a lot of men go through. That is not something that's a huge deal. What is a huge deal is their self-esteem levels being low and attacking black women because of it. Coming after black women, pretending that these black women are their mates, their friends. These black women have low self-esteem when they develop techniques of stalking and things of that nature. It's just one thing is going to lead to the other, and then the next thing you know, you have a disaster. Please don't say I didn't say anything because I'm quietly spoken about sexual harassment, about stalking, about the R word, about the mental health of a black community. I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to tell you straight up, there's nobody else who's going to. What always happens with me is, because I am that way, 6 months down the line, somebody else is going to say it. Maybe somebody with dark skin, maybe one of these fake woke people are going to say it. And then something happens about it. No, I ain't buying it. I know you hear me. Hear my voice and what I'm saying, and stop pretending like you can't hear. Anyway, I'm gone. I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.